Vanya, what is the latest on Milnerton High School? Let's go there while we're here.
So I've just spoken to my colleague Carlo Peterson, who's at Milnerton High School currently, waiting to see if the protest that is scheduled for this morning will go ahead. There was one yesterday, but parents have indicated that they will be arriving at the school for another one this morning, but it is still quiet. We do know that the eight learners were received suspension letters yesterday, and that the mother of the grade 10 learner has spoken out, and she has taken her son. He made a statement at the Milnitton police station yesterday. So yeah, now the law must take its course.
And do we know what the Proteas are demanding? Justice, or the school tackling bullying? What are they wanting? What's
So I
the
mean,
outcome?
at this point, it's not just on the school. It is the education department that now will do their investigations alongside. Well, it will be independent investigations. The police one is obviously police will do their thing, and the department its own, and so it's a waiting game at this point. But like I said, those kids, 8 of them already, these grade 11 boys, have received their suspension notices, so they are not at the school.
It's,
currently.
I mean, if you were watching social media yesterday, there's so many sort of side stories that are coming out about this.
Yeah.
You know what the bottom line is, I think, is that a hashtag isn't going to fix it. A new school policy isn't going to fix it. Bullying has been around since the very first classroom. It's been around, and it's never been able to have been combated. All right. We are in 2025 now. Bullying doesn't just stay in that classroom and then it's gone. It lives on social media now, as you can see.
Absolutely, but
So
not
the
just
reminder-
on social media.
Yeah, but it just in terms of how it's different in modern times now. And do teachers have to, and I'm going to ask a couple questions here. So if we can come to terms with the fact that it's never going to be gone, all right?
I don't want to come to terms with that, Darren.
We'll come to terms with it because it won't.
No.
It'll never be totally. This is the dark side of human society, all right? And it will forever be there. Do teachers have to walk on eggshells nowadays, that they can't effectively try and stop this or perhaps punish it? Do teachers and in some schools have the willpower to effectively punish this? When you look at your sports stars at the school, are sports stars, do some schools prioritize trophies from one child over another child's trauma? There are many questions here. Do parents get involved, and parents that automatically defend their kids, regardless of what they've done? You as a parent, do you know what your kid is going through? Kids are not equipped to deal with this alone. You know, you see your kid, they come home from school. I can tell if my kid's had a bad day. They don't want to talk, they want to shut it down. Don't go to the school, don't tell the teacher, because there's something else that's going to come for me then. These are all things that we need to deal with, perhaps don't deal with, because like I said, you know, bullying is always going to be there. It'll always exist, but so will kindness.
And that for me is why, why every single person involved in upholding the structure of bullying has a responsibility to stop it before it even happens. I don't want to be dealing with the fallout and the after effect. We must be talking about how do we just dismantle the whole thing so it does not thrive. It's not able to exist anymore.
Well, that's
because
it,
there are
Sibs.
people calling it out at every turn, you know?
'Cause you know,
And for us to be real about it, this is not just a Milnerton High issue.
Definitely
This
not.
is not just kids being bullied. when we look at all of this, have you read the comment section?
That
Have
in
you
itself.
have you read the comments from adults?
That's where it goes again.
So that is my issue.
Yeah.
It's not just how do we fix the kids? How do we fix ourselves, the adults, when we handle these kind of
Adults
actions?
who are now branding these 18, 19-year-olds as adults.
Yeah.
And so therefore they must take responsibility for their actions. But the hatefulness and the bullying that's coming from much older
Yeah,
adults.
it's just-
Oh, I mean, it's just insane.
But you see, this is this vicious cycle,
It's the
because
system.
now, you know, historically your kid can come home and say, "Yeah, I'm bullied at school." Now you watch it. It has a different emotion on
Now
you.
the world watches.
It has a very different
The
emotion.
world comments.
You know, and you know, the reality is we cannot protect our kids from every cruel person out there. You
Do
know,
you know how many parents have?
but we can teach them not to be one.
Yes.
And this goes on from school, in the workplace, online, in life later on. So what do we do? What do you do as a parent? And I've thought about this. What do you, and I want you to weigh in on this. The principal calls you, says, your kid is a bully at the school. You as a parent, what do you do? How do you handle that? As a parent, this is also something I don't think we are equipped to handle.
Absolutely, and that is okay. But to get to that point, I'm the adult in the room, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Who guides me? Who do
Yeah.
I go to for help?
So 2 questions. That's the first question. Second question. Because this can easily be filed in a month's time under Boys Will Be Boys.
No, absolutely
Okay.
not.
So were you bullied at school? You're now an adult, still suffering the effects. Let's see if this just what happens on the playground stays on the playground or carries itself with you for the rest of your life. Let's hear those stories. And I think when we start looking at it from that point of view, we can see the real effects. Because otherwise it's just, man, it just happened at school. This is what happens. It's always happened, you know.
Yeah.
So let's get to those 2 questions first. Because, you know, as I've sit yesterday watching all this stuff, then actually just shut it down. You'd actually just think, okay, we can all hands mob justice, but what's the solution? What's the solution? Because we're not getting anywhere if we don't find a solution. There's not going to be a solution. Like I said, bullying is not going away.
Stop
But-
saying that.
Well, it's not. So just come to terms with that. But how do you teach your kids to deal with that? You know?
Before we can deal with the situation, we need to understand what is it that we are dealing with.
Exact-
Do we understand what's happening
And-
at our schools?
And the environment that allows it to happen.
Exactly.
Everyone has a role to play, whether it's, you know, education department, teachers, parents, the school itself, where, you know, something like this doesn't just happen. There is a structure that exists that allows it to happen, and that is fed through so many different points.
So many times.
in the fact that it happens.
So what many people are also doing is, what is my responsibility? How can I respond? How can I help, whether I'm a parent or not? So many people are calling their own schools. When was the last time you checked in? What's happening at your former primary school, your high school? How can you help as an alumni? What is happening? Because there's a lot happening.
I was so astonished to see in the comments how many parents have only through this incident realized or become aware that their kids at primary school who have now gone on to high school have been bullied. Those children have now had the guts to come out and say, well, I am not a product but a victim of bullying. And they were none the wiser because the children, they feel there's fear to speak out.
Oh, that's always been. You know, you're uncool if you do. You're weak if you do. You know.
But can you
must
see how we're changing the
Yeah.
narrative? Now you're saying, actually, I'm going to speak up, you bully.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell.
I just want to read some messages here. We got a ton. This is clearly something that's been bubbling under for a very, very, very long time, as I think we all know, right? One of the questions I asked is, do teachers, do they even have the ability to now sort situations out? Can they, what actions are they allowed to take? Because I get the sense that they're all pretty hamstrung when it comes to discipline. So message in here, as a teacher, we need to be cautious of calling out to be cautious of calling out the bully as a bully. Parents come ready to attack verbally and physically. If you accuse a learner, regardless of the overwhelming evidence you produce, the parents are quick to complain directly to the minister's office, take you to the Human Rights Commission. You are then reprimanded and at times even charged.
I have heard that from many teachers who feel like their hands are tied.
We got a lot to get through, but here's one here.
So I am a teacher. So regarding bullying at the schools, it's actually everywhere. In every school it exists. And these bullies get away with it because their parents defend them, their parents bring lawyers. They are always the victims, and the teachers do everything in their power to get these bullies off the school, but the department does not expel these learners. These learners just come back to school next week and everything is okay and nothing happens to these children. No form of accountability takes place. All that happens is, oh, sorry, and that's it, and we have to live with it.
Here's another message from a teacher. I can tell you that the laws have tied our hands. You can't discipline learners nowadays, nor address certain behavioral issues. I know a teacher who was bullied and attacked by learners and didn't get any support. The department expects us to be miracle workers, but nowadays it's more difficult, and learners always remind you of their rights. Department officials must come to the schools and not sit in their offices. Maybe then they will realize just how bad it is. Another message here. Thank you, Breakfast Team, for discussing the Milnerton bullying situation. As a parent of Milnerton High, I'm disgusted at how social media has handled this situation, basically calling for blood. The learners not involved in this are all stressed with the situation, and social media is making it worse. Innocent children have also been accused of being involved in this, getting all sorts of threats from strangers. This has to stop. The school is investigating it. Let them do their job. See, this is the adult factor, getting involved and looking for a defense. You're not my baby.
Yeah.
The political parties, another message. The political parties are taking advantage of this situation. They should stay out. Very true. All right, we've got a whole bunch of other messages here on your thoughts on this issue.
From grade 1, from the very first day of school all the way through to matric, I was bullied by the same person. Many years later, when I was working through this trauma, I actually contacted this bully through Facebook, and her reply was, "But I never ever bullied you. I was only there trying to help you." And the only way that the school dealt with it was to put us in 2 different classes. They were fully aware of it. There was absolutely nothing, zilch, zero, that could be done.
Hi, Kfm. So I've been bullied primary school into high school. I obviously mentally there's been there. The one thing that made me not take it with me was my kids. So today I am more aware of what happens to my kids. So I ask them every single day what happened. And my kids has been bullied, and I've been there for them through the process, and I have stood up for them. Because today I could not stood up for me when I was younger, but I can stand up for my kids today.
I remember when most of my school life I was bullied, and to this day I'm 35 years old now and I still have flashbacks. Then I got in trouble for bunking school and stuff like that by my parents. I used to skip school. Like I didn't go to school for like 3 weeks or something, sometimes at a time, because of the fear of like the people that I knew were waiting there for me to bully me. And then you got in trouble when they caught you bunking and stuff, but then you got detention and things, but you wouldn't say why you were bunking because that would anger the bullies more and it would become worse. They'd wait for you after school, they'd get you outside of school, then where you live basically. I mean, you know what I mean. You got classified as the bad kid because you would bunk school, you would do skip class, stuff like that, but they didn't know why you do it. To this day, my parents don't even know I was bullied in school, but
I was bullied my entire school career to the point where I didn't know how to stand up for myself anymore. And it's now affecting me at work where I don't know how to stand up for myself to my boss. It's like fright or flight. I constantly have fright. It's been tough, but therapy has helped a lot.
See, those are the after effects.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I mean, people, holding on to experiences from 20 years ago that still affect their lives well into adulthood.
And shape their characters
do you
going
see
forward.
The trauma.
Yeah.
Sure. But the importance of all of these conversations, hey, talking about it.
Yeah. I think the best thing we can equip our kids with, if they are a bully, we don't defend them and we deal with it however you deal with it as a parent, however you can get through. And at the same time, if your kid is on the receiving end of being a bully, I think that's what we need to teach our kids, is how to deal with these sorts of things. They cannot go it alone.
And what does support look like for the bully and the person being bullied?
And that it is systemic. Every one of us has a role to play, whether you are a young person, older person, in school, outside of school. We are the ones building the world that we want to live in.
And we need to do better. We can't just say, bullying has been around for always. It will always be around. It will if we don't do anything about it.
And you know what? Like, the thing is that you got to look at why it's almost like a perfect storm, because you want parents to be more involved in their kids' lives, right? There are so many single parent households, moms, or on the other end, the dads doing 3 jobs to put food on the table. They busy, they rush, they tired, they don't. So everything culminating together gets us to where we are. There's not one size fits all here. There's not, okay, parents, you've got to do this. That's not possible for every parent. Likewise with teachers, likewise with schools. It's so complicated, this thing.
If we could all just come together and realize that we are on the same side.
I think we do know that.
Teachers and parents shouldn't have to be fighting each other, but sometimes it feels like that.
Absolutely right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely
we
right.
are all on the same side.
Yeah. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And I think maybe at school, let's maybe give maths a break and let's have a lesson on respect once a week.
Kfm Mornings with Darren.